Tonight on News 5 Live, unions almost walk out of meeting with GOB, but cooler heads prevailed. The Prime Minister weighs in on the BNTU and PSU strikes, and Police Commissioner says officers will not be joining strike. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
Instead, I want to celebrate my mother, the voice of reason behind every decision I've ever made. Every all-nighter I survived because she sat by my side. The values she's instilled, I will take with me forever. And I know that you have given me more than I can ever give back to you.
Mothers, our everyday superheroes, the Belize Bank salutes you. Happy Mother's Day.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
As we continue to enhance customer experience, the Social Security Board is proposing the use of biometrics. Biometrics is the measurement of a person's unique physical characteristics, such as fingerprints and facial features, used to establish and verify that you are who you say you are. Biometrics will ensure services are provided to the right person at the right time, making customer transactions easier and secure. Identity management with biometrics will be easier. It allows us to quickly and accurately confirm your identity when accessing any of our services, from the moment a person is registered to the moment the payment of a benefit is made. With biometrics, fraud will be minimized by easily identifying those who pose a security risk. The enhancement of customer services to you means no more filling out of forms, no more presentation of an ID, and decreased waiting time. Your convenience and your information security is our priority. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, May 6th. I am Sabrina Daly. The joint unions negotiating team and the government of Belize met today for day 2 of discussions inside the House of Culture in Belize City. It was expected that the meeting would run into the evening because 9 of the 11 points put forward by the unions were yet to be discussed. But today, those points were not even raised, and the meeting came to an end by 2 p.m. So what transpired? News 5's Paul Lopez was with the unions throughout the day, and he files the following report.
At around 9:50 a.m. this morning, President of the Public Service Union, Gerald Henry, and First Vice President Dean Flowers made their way onto the compound of the House of Culture in Belize City. A few minutes later, both Flowers and Henry would exit the compound on foot to greet union members who were picketing at the gate. That is where we had our first conversation with President Henry about the expectations for today's meetings. There are grumblings that a resolution is being reached at, or you're approaching reaching a resolution. Is that in fact the case?
Well, I wouldn't be that optimistic, although like I told you the last time that my blood type is B positive, but we are still hopeful that there can be some, medium ground that will be met. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. No, today we'll be sharing what our responses are from our both consultations that the two sides have been having, and we'll see where we go from there.
How long do you expect today's meeting to last?
Really and truly, to be realistic, I honestly think that we'll be going late again. Last time we only managed to reach to 2 points, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it will be a bit earlier, and we could accomplish something, solid today.
Trying to cover all 11 points in these meetings.
Yeah. So we have 9 left.
But those remaining 9 points were not discussed today. In fact, by 12:30 midday, the press was being informed that union reps were preparing to walk out the meeting, and that an impromptu press conference would be held in the Yabra Green. But it was not until 2 p.m., 2 hours later, that those union leaders arrived. After a brief meeting with those members that were present, we learned of what transpired inside the meeting.
We have served the public service notice that we will take legal action where our people are being victimized. And because of the victimization that is happening with terminations and transfers, the talks this morning almost broke down. And that's why we didn't get forward, and I want to be clear on that. The talks this morning almost broke down because of the nonsense that was on TV last night, whereby people are being threatened. I'm pleased to report that under the good leadership of the 3 ministers there today, we were able to get their commitment that the victimization stops, and it stops now.
I want to speak to the fact that at no point in time there was never ever an offer on the table, a proposal that in fact nurses and frontline workers were to be exempted. That never came to us. So that for that statement to have been made by the Minister of Health and Wellness, only God knows where he got it from, because we could not reject something that never came to us. It never came to us. So I know I asked that question today to the ministerial team. Please tell me if I fell asleep in one of our meetings when in fact you made that offer. And they confirmed that that offer never came to that table.
Members of Parliament, these ministers, the Minister of Health and Wellness should have never ever said something like that. His words is destroying, or is causing to destroy a wonderful thing such as the labor movement in this country. He doesn't have a clue, obviously, of the discussions that are occurring within the confines of the House of Culture between the unions and the budget team from the government side. What he needs to do is to come back to the press to you all and make a public apology to the unions for his action. The Nurses Association is a new member, new affiliate to the National Trade Union Congress. And so when you say something like that, right away you cause this new organization, this new member to want to start to double think about their decision to join us.
While things got heated during today's meeting over reports of victimization and alleged erroneous public statements from parliamentarians, today's meeting ended with the joint unions sticking to their guns where the 10% salary cut is concerned.
For now, what we did today was to insist on our membership position that they are not in agreement with the salary cut, and that was clearly put to the table, and so they are aware of that. So we ended the meeting at that point. They are going back to have their discussions, and then we will do the same.
Government made some new proposals. Of course, it's kind of hard to speak to that because we need to speak to our members before, in fact, we can share that. But there are new proposals on the table. But until it is, our members say yes, yea, or nay. It would really not be fair to speak to that without getting to them first.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Prime Minister John Briceño also spoke out today, courtesy of the government press office, on the ongoing negotiations between the unions and GOB representatives. PM Briceño, who is not in the negotiation room with the unions, says he does get updates on what transpires in those meetings. He expressed disappointment with what he deems to be wavering commitments from the unions. He also spoke about the government's responsibility to ensure that the country continues to function during strike actions.
What I find quite pleasing is that in the meetings are very cordial, they're very respectful. Everybody they are put their different perspectives as to what is it that they wish. Our disappointment is that when we finish the meetings, we feel that we have an agreement, but whenever they go to the membership, or at least the group that participate in the meetings, are obviously that probably are the ones that are more worked up or more not wanting to settle for what they have been asking and we've been giving to. So that part is disappointing. But as I said, we do respect the unions. We do support their right to work. But at the same time, as a government, we have the responsibility to the rest of the nation to ensure that the country continues to work, that the schools are working, that there can be teachers teaching our children, that the hospitals are working, that there are doctors and nurses available. You know, these are services that are critical to the development of any country. So we have not only a legal but a moral responsibility to ensure that we continue to offer these services to the Belizean people.
Are you concerned? Well, I guess you have to be concerned, but what are your thoughts on the days ahead as the strike continues and the impact to the economy, to the country?
Well, fortunately, it seems that it's not having a major impact. I believe that generally Belizeans understand what we're doing. Belizeans understand that we're not acting out of malice. Belizeans understand that there is a financial crisis. Belizeans understand that many of them, thousands of them, lost their jobs. Fortunately, the public service, including the teachers, they kept their job. They've been getting their salaries. But it has gotten to a point where we just don't have the money. We wish we could be paying them and giving them even more and helping all of those that don't have a job. But the truth is that we don't have the money. For the past 2 years, Mr. Barrow and the UDP borrowed over $700 million to pay salaries, to pay the light bill, electricity, and rent. We can't continue doing that. In this new financial year, with the tightening up of our belts and just spending monies where we really need to spend in education, the economy, and health. But with all of that, in the 10% cut that we have already done, because the budget has already been passed, we are still short of almost $100 million to be able to pay salaries. So we're still not collecting enough to be able to pay salaries. And that is what we're trying to tell the unions. We don't have it, and we can't continue to print money. If we continue to print money, we could have hyperinflation, and God forbid, even a devaluation, and we will not allow that to happen. Our PUP government will not allow that to happen. We're going to do everything possible to protect the Belizean dollar.
PM Briceño also spoke about the outstanding taxes owed to the government and why collecting those taxes is not a simple solution to the economic crisis. He noted that the responsibility to collect taxes also lies with public servants.
Belizeans understand. I think even the union members understand, especially the leaders understand. But we just need to continue the dialogue with them, and we hope that probably more sooner than later we'll be able to get them to understand that all of us have to do our bit, in this during this crisis that we're going through. And we believe that by year 3, the economy is going to be in a much better position where we can then start to give increments and do the actual investments in Plan Belize. Because we said that we're going to grow the economy, we're going to create jobs, we want to expand schools, water, and the national health insurance. These are things that are critical to any thriving community, country. And we meant it when we said that we want to have a government where everybody will win.
The unions, along with the public, have been calling for the cut of minister allowances, and on top of that they're saying the cut on minister allowances, and on top of that the public has been saying go to the people who owe taxes who may have been forgiven because they are politically appointed, they have political friends. So what would you say to the public who are saying that before you touch salaries, is it possible to go to people that owe the government money and get that money? Because can you explain to us if that's a possibility, because it seems to be a simple fix, but we know that the economy is much more.
There are two questions that you mentioned. One is about ministers' allowances. As it is, we've already taken a 15% cut. We've already cut our allowances by 50%. But what a lot of people, they know, but they don't want to fully accept at this time is that those allowances, basically we use that money to be able to help people in our constituencies. So it's not as if we are taking that money for ourselves, we're using it. I found it ridiculous when some people in the union are saying, well, that we should not even get a vehicle allowance for those that are using their own vehicle. I'm using my personal vehicle, and I know they're saying that they want to even cut that. That's being malicious, that's not being reasonable. So I think we've been doing our part. As to the collecting of taxes, what is the irony about this is that when a union member talks about government not collecting, they are the ones that are responsible to collect the taxes. It's not the ministers. They are the ones. And I would challenge any public officer right now to say that I have called as a Minister of Finance telling them don't charge tax to anybody. We need to collect the taxes. But to try to collect taxes, it will take a process. Some of these people that haven't paid, some don't want to pay, some don't care, and some just don't have the money. The point is that it will take time for us to be able to collect those monies. And we don't have time right now. Every month we have to write checks and make direct deposits to pay salaries. Every month our overdraft goes up, and then we continue to borrow more from central bank. So we simply don't have time. Belize has run out of time.
PM Briceño also contended that while there are those expecting his administration to solve the nation's economic crisis within a short span of time, those most critical have been members of the public service for the past 13 years. PM Briceño questioned why industrial actions were not organized by those critics under the last administration.
The other irony about this whole thing is that the very same people or union people or some of these union members that are hurling accusations at us, well, they've been in there for 13 years. What is it that they did for the past 13 years? Why didn't they be making noise and talking about the waste and the corruption that took place during the past 13 years? And now they expect us that in less than 6 months we're going to fix it? I mean, if I had a magic wand and just let it disappear, I'd happily do that. If I could sign a paper and it disappears, I'd be happy to do that. but it will take it's a process, and we are fully and totally committed to the process. We've already agreed that we're going to present legislation to go after people that are corrupt in government, and also not talking only about the ministers, but even the public officers that are corrupt. The issue of the illicit unjust wealth and illicit government assets, that, all of that is going to be addressed, and we're working on that. So we have that commitment. We're at the point of setting up the Constitutional Reform Committee, which is going to be broad-based, which will include not only the unions and the NGOs, but the private sector, the churches, everybody, for us to be able to see how better we can improve and strengthen the laws of this country, strengthen the Constitution to protect the interests of the Belizean people and also to protect the interests of Belize.
There are questions tonight about Belize's homegrown economic recovery plan after Reuters news agency is reporting that creditors have been urging Belize to agree to an IMF program, and Belize is accusing its bondholders of canceling a Zoom call. When asked for comment today, Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, Chris Koyi, told News 5 he was out of the country, but believed the Prime Minister would be addressing the matter soon. The Briceño administration, which took office in November 2020, is attempting to restructure its external debt obligation. It is the fifth time in the past 15 years that the country has reached out to its creditors in a bid to streamline the $550 million super bond. The super bond, which emerged in its first iteration in 2006 to 2007, presently contributes to 133% of Belize's GDP ratio. In a recent country review, the International Monetary Fund described it as unsustainable. Belize's economy has been severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and Prime Minister John Briceño has opted for a homegrown recovery plan, eschewing an IMF prescription. U.S.-based funds, GMO and Greylock, as well as London-based Aberdeen Standard Investments, all superbond holders have collectively signaled after forming a creditor committee that they may not restructure with help from the UN financial agency. When asked on March 15th about the bond payment that is due this month, here's what the Prime Minister had to say.
There's a payment due in a few months. In May, thank you. And clearly, from all you've outlined, we most likely will not be able to make that payment. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So what is the status of the renegotiation?
Well, we have started, I don't think we've started the actual negotiations formally, but we have been sending out signals and so to the bondholders. There has to be a haircut. There's absolutely no way that we can continue at carrying that burden of over $500 million US. And the only way we can get back to sustainability is by asking for the bondholders to take a haircut. And we're trying to get as big as a haircut as we possibly can. The debt recovery team is, it's just a team of different technicians and myself, along with Ministers Courtney and Ministers Koyi. And so we are the ones that are working on putting all of these plans together.
Have you, are you utilizing any of the past members of the recovery team, the past PUP representative, Ambassador for Economic Affairs, I think it was, Marcus Pat? Is he involved?
Marcus Pat is involved, but he is involved through the City Group. The City Group is the group that leads the negotiations. And so they are the ones that we have not, they are the ones that will have started that negotiations. We are not paying a cent to anybody as we speak, and it will be based on performance, on the amount of the haircut that we can get.
The reported pressure that GOB is facing from superbond holders may also be having a rippling effect on ongoing negotiations with the joint unions. Today, President of the PSU, Gerald Henry, explained that the added external pressure may be causing the government to stick to the 10% cut.
I would imagine that the pressure has to be great on them for them to, seem to be sticking to the 10% cut at this time, and so that's the reason why the discussions have been very difficult, and we have not been able to move as fast as we would have liked, no? But so the pressure is more on them, I believe, and but we are still hopeful that we may be able to break through and get a reduction at least in the 10%. But we have to wait and see.
Coming up, we'll tell you about a near-fatal chopping in the West.
As an RFNG agent, it gives me great pleasure to work with a tremendous company. Whenever we need any help, we can count on them to help us. When you sign up with RFNG, it is more than an insurance. It is family. A family that is reliable, that is dependable, that is safe. I am your neighbor. I am your friend. I am your RFNG agent.
Find your nearest RF&G agent on our website at rfginsuranceBelize.com, where it pays to get it right.
Rain or shine, any weather. When we go ball, we go Berger. Quality paint, no faded colors. When we go ball, we go Berger. Let your imagination run free. Any color for this place, when we say bold, that mean it don't peel. Quality in every color, lifetime guarantee. When we go bold, we go Berger. When we go bold, we go Berger. Rain or shine, any color you need. When we go bold, we go Berger.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800-A-WAY-OUT or our cell phone number, 672-9628. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission in collaboration with Miss Universe Belize with funding from the Engender and Spotlight projects. not be aware of the new travel requirements set in place by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Passengers traveling to the U.S. must present a negative COVID test or a documentation of having recovered from COVID-19 to travel to the U.S. In light of this, Maya, in partnership with Caring Hands Clinic, have established testing centers in all their municipal airports. Caring Hands Antigen Test Center is operational in San Pedro, Belize City, Dangrega, Placencia, and Hopkins. These testing facilities are staffed by licensed healthcare professionals, including doctors, registered nurses, and nurse practitioners. Testing is done using Abbott rapid test devices that are FDA approved and made in the USA. The service is safe, fast, affordable, and the close proximity of the centers makes them convenient. Walk-ins are welcomed, but appointments are encouraged. If you would like to make an appointment, please feel free to do so at Make your appointment, get tested, and in 15 minutes, you can get back to your vacation.
A chopping incident left two tenants at an apartment complex nursing a range of machete wounds. One man received a large chop wound in the head, and the other received numerous cut wounds to the upper body and his hands. One man says he acted in self-defense when he disarmed the man who attacked him and turned the weapon on him. Reporter Andrea Polanco was in Belmopan today and tells us more in the following story.
23-year-old Tristan Lodge says he was defending himself when 57-year-old Wilfred Neal allegedly pulled a machete on him. It happened around 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning at this apartment complex in the Mayamapan community of Belmopan. Neal was allegedly walking down the stairs when he tripped. That caused Lodge and his relatives to laugh out. And in a matter of minutes, Lodge says he was in a fight for his life when Neal allegedly pulled out a machete on him and attacked him. The incident played out inside this yard and even in Lodge's home.
Then he just ran upstairs, grabbed his for a machete, ran down back, and he started attacking me, talking about he's gonna kill me and how I'm gonna die, you know. So, well, I started scuffling with him and trying to take away the machete from him. That was when he chopped me on my arm. So he was trying to chop me in my head. So I dodged it and he gave me a little thing on my forehead, and we was scuffling for a good little while until I managed to receive the machete from him, and I inflicted back a wound on him.
So you would say you were defending yourself yesterday?
Actually, I was, because I wasn't the one with the weapon. He attacked me with his machete. I was literally just sitting here, just minding my own business as usual. He done come swing out at me with my picnic, you know. If my brother never grabbed my son, honestly, I don't know where his man and I do, because he fly into the house. Then I just back up into the house while I leave it, and then I end up to come out at him, because then if I turn my back I run, probably I chop me in my head and all of that, you know, mommy.
You feel that you would probably be a dead man today if you didn't defend yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Honestly, yes. Feel like he might kill me, because that till say.
Neal lives in the upper flat and was reportedly in the process of moving out of the apartment complex on Wednesday. Lodge has been living downstairs for the past few months. According to Lodge, Neal appeared to have always had an issue with them, but it has never escalated to physical injury.
He has a tendency that anytime he sees us, like he wants to make a literal noise, you know, and everybody in the neighborhood could basically hear this man, yeah.
Do you have any understanding, or were you able to ever truly get why he behaved that way with you guys?
Well, honestly, they said the man have a mental problem, you know, mommy. You know, but then, come on, universal law that you no mess with nobody not mess with you, you know. And I've been to tell the man that can me make a note of provocation lead to murderation, you know. I never expect to go through all of this with no big man at all, you know. You say that a big man, like, you know, got no understanding or nothing like that.
Never reached to this level yet where he'd a pull-on weapon.
No, I see the man walk around with the machete enough days, but me barely try pay he no mind, you know.
According to police, Neil was chopped in the head. Both men's injuries are classified as wounding.
Both men were transported to the Western Regional Hospital, where they were treated and released, and the injuries classified as wounding.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
There was a sad ending today in the search of missing Armenia resident Alex Guzman after his decomposing body was located this morning. A search team made up of family members and friends discovered Guzman's body just before 10 o'clock today in the Yalbak Hill area of Spanish Lookout. Guzman was in the area looking for work and was last seen alive on Saturday. Today, his nephew confirmed the tragic news, but told News 5 that they can't confirm what led to his death until they get the results of a post-mortem.
Alex was a very kind person. He was very friendly. He would assist anyone if he was possible. He was a tour guide of profession, and he was trained with several skills. Even he had training in survival. So his this kind of skills kept our hopes high, keeping that any of these skills would kick any minute and he would be able to survive. But unfortunately, he didn't.
Have you guys gathered perhaps if there are any injuries on his body? You know, what was observed on the scene?
So far, we don't have any that kind of information at the moment. We are still waiting on an official police report. The forensic team should be doing an autopsy, and then we can probably get an idea of to exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys suspect that he was killed?
We don't suspect any foul play at the moment. We don't. Like I said, we are waiting on the results from the autopsy, and we'll see what they have to say.
Okay. Have you guys been able to find out over the last couple of days, maybe if he was seen in the area, what he was doing?
Yeah, like he was seen like on Saturday morning around 10. That was the last time someone saw him. Until the day that we came across his body.
Okay. And he was doing what? Was he in the company of other people? He was walking. What was he doing when he was last spotted?
Well, when he was last spotted, he was by himself. He was just resting from the heat before he started moving again. Okay. He was by himself.
Right. And there are no reports of him perhaps maybe drinking, socializing to the back there?
No reports. We don't have a good idea, of if he was drinking or something.
The Belize Police Department says that crimes are down for the first 3 months of 2021. Today, Commissioner of Police reported that major crimes for all categories are down when compared to the first quarter of 2020. Here's how Compol Chester Williams explains it.
Every category of crime is down in every region. I think the only region that has an increase in murders so far this year is the Western region. And most of those murders occurred in the Belmopan area. As you know, when the year began, we have a number of murders in Belmopan, or surrounding areas of Belmopan. And so the Western region is up in murders. But the reduction we saw in Eastern Division, in the Western region, and in the Northern region was greater than the increase in Belmopan, and so we do have a significant decrease at this time in the overall murder count. Likewise, in terms of robberies, home invasions, those are down as well. I think the only category of crime we have that is up is that of rape, and by a very, very slim number. The overall number of major crime reduction is somewhere around 28% compared to the same period last year. Murders is down compared to last year by almost around 30%, or more than 30%. So we're doing well in those areas of crime.
Commissioner, what do you attribute these good results, so to speak?
Well, it has a lot to do with the police efforts. I have been, as a commissioner behind my commanders, harping to them the importance to remain on the ground, supervise the officers, we cannot administrate from a desk, giving instructions. As commanders, we must be out. I myself, as a commissioner, move around the country, looking at what the different commanders are doing, ensuring that our crime-fighting strategy is being employed with a view to achieve the results that we so desire. And so we're seeing that, for the most part, the commanders are doing what they should be doing, and that trickles down to the lower ranks, and we're getting the results that we so expect from them.
When it comes to murders, there are 14 fewer murders for the first 3 months of this year when compared to last year. Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa says that the police working in Belize City have been doing a great job. As you may know, historically, the city has had a problem area when it comes to murders, fueled by gangs and drugs. This year, those numbers for the city are down. We asked Minister Musa about the plan moving forward.
Any particular focus for the city?
Absolutely, absolutely. It is always one of our primary concerns. The Eastern Division is headed by Assistant Commissioner Rosado, who I would like to say has been doing an exceptional job. Like I said, the numbers are down for the first quarter in terms of murders. We are at 24 murders for the first quarter compared to 38, I believe, last year in the Eastern Division. And so one of our primary focuses when it comes to the Eastern Division has been home invasions, a new type of crime. And so while it may not be that you're seeing an increase in murders, we're having a different type of crime being committed. And again, that is why it is so important for us to strategize as a group, as a department, to come up with different ways we can tackle these new forms of crime.
Where these statistics fit into the larger crime strategy?
Based on the numbers from last year in terms of violent crime, and last year, if you would recall, was a record year. I think, Commissioner, if I'm not mistaken, we haven't had these low numbers as far back as 2014. That was the last time we had these low numbers in terms of violent crime. And so we use these numbers in order to tailor our strategy in fighting crime, like I said, to refocus and to retool and to ramp up our presence in certain areas, which would, of course, lead to arrests, but more importantly, lead to the deterrence of crime.
As you heard just now, crime is down in the country for the first 3 months of this year. Those statistics were shared this morning when the Belize Police Department hosted its national quarterly computer statistics session with all commanders from the different regions, formations, and divisions countrywide. It's a meeting of the top brass in the department that has been taking place for 7 years now. The officers engaged Minister Karim Musa along with CEO Kevin Arthurs and Compol Chester Williams on the issue of crime in their respective jurisdictions. Today, Minister Musa briefed the media about the significance of this meeting as it relates to tackling crime in the country.
It is a very important tool in policing. As a matter of fact, I would go even further to say it is a weapon in crime-fighting strategy, because what we do is that we review the statistics over the first quarter to see where it is that crime is happening, who is committing these crimes, and we certainly then make adjustments in our strategy to focus on these areas and to come up with new and innovative ways, including the use of technology, to better our crime-fighting strategy. It is a very transparent and a very accountable session because everybody has to come forth and inform the Commissioner and the Ministry of what has been going on so that we can make the necessary adjustments.
After the break, KHMH nurses gets moving as they celebrate Nurses Week. But first, here's the latest COVID-19 update.
name is Star, and I'm a Belizean trans man.
Star is a very fun person, very outgoing, a very friendly person, and quite a charming individual, to just spend some time with.
Dalila is a friend of mine. She's one of my only friends that have been very supportive.
I have so much admiration for Star because I was never aware of the kind of discrimination that Star faces for just being who he is and being true to himself.
It's important to have allies that will respect me no matter what.
For me, being trans, being gay, being lesbian, doesn't matter to me, it doesn't.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
How is electricity sourced, transmitted, and distributed? We'll explain how we get power to you safely for your everyday use. BEL purchases most of the power you use from independent power producers in Belize and Mexico. The energy we provide to customers comes from a mix of renewable and non-renewable sources such as hydro, biomass, fossil fuel, solar, and a combination of sources from CFE. More than half of the energy produced in Belize is from renewable sources, making Belize #1 in the Caribbean and #2 in all of North and Central America. So how does this power get to your home? High voltage electricity moves for long distances from where it is generated along transmission lines that deliver to substations countrywide where the voltage is reduced. The lower voltage electricity is then transported by power lines to transformers on your neighborhood's utility poles. The transformer further reduces the voltage so that electricity can make its way into your homes through your meters. How are electricity rates determined? The Public Utilities Commission, PUC, sets electricity rates on a cost recovery basis. BEL projects the amount of electricity customers will need and the cost of buying and distributing it. Together, BEL and PUC use these projections to do a full tariff review every 4 years and annual reviews. The public is informed of these proceedings, so they have a say. The rates approved by PUC reflects the total cost of BEL to serve customers divided by the entire amount of electricity used by customers. If projections are too high and result in overcollection, rates are reduced going forward. When projections are too low and result in undercollection, rates are increased in future tariff review periods to recover losses. If we buy power from producers that cost less, we can charge less. This is why we are focused on securing new, cheaper sources of energy like solar power. What other solutions do we plan to introduce soon? AMI or smart meters. These provide real-time information on consumption and empowers customers to manage their bills. Solar energy. We are looking forward to adding solar generation to our mix and offer rooftop solar PV to reduce costs and improve reliability. Electric ground transportation. We aim to convert 50% of ground transportation in Belize to electric. By learning how to read your meter, you will better understand how you consume energy and how your monthly bill is determined. Manage your energy use by conserving wherever possible. We continue to serve our customers by keeping you updated and making it easy to reach us anytime from anywhere, whether it's getting information about our programs, connecting new service, providing options to pay your electricity bill, or reporting a hazard. We are always here for you.
You probably saw it on social media. A video of the medical and auxiliary staff at the National Referral Hospital dancing to Jerusalem. It is the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital celebrating Nurses Week under the theme Nurses, a Voice to Lead, a Vision for Future Healthcare. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought into sharp focus the important role of frontline healthcare workers in saving lives. So today's official ceremony to celebrate nurses felt different. There was an ambience of genuine appreciation to those in the profession.
Sometimes our work gets thrown under the carpet, but this is an opportunity for us to show that nurses make a valuable contribution all over the world. And here at Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital, despite the challenges, despite the fact that we have to adhere to the different precautions that are demanded of us, then we still wanted to show appreciation for the nurses here at KHMH.
At the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital, there are approximately 200 nurses, 40 of whom are men. That shift in the profession that was originally considered to be the job of a woman is being welcomed wholeheartedly. Nursing shift supervisor Corrine Birch says that you must have a passion for the profession that teaches you to be psychologically strong.
You have to learn how to feel and not feel, meaning you have to care about the people that you're caring for, but then you can't feel sorry for everyone that you're caring for, because at the end of the day you won't be effective. So although nursing is a caring profession, it is one that teaches you to be strong. You have to put on the best face and move ahead. You might just have dealt with someone this morning that died, and then in the evening you have to go and deal with someone else and reassure them, and then you can't be clouded by what happened in the morning. You have to just keep moving, keep moving.
During today's event, acknowledgement went to male nurses. So what inspired them to take on this profession? Darwin Slusher and Josue Valdez spoke about their experiences.
I've always had the desire, to help people growing up. I've always had my mom as a role model. She likes helping people. So, growing up, as I was seeing that, and then all those virtues, I acquired them. And I always knew I wanted to work in healthcare. So nursing was good enough for me. I'm planning also on my PhD even in nursing, but yeah, that's basically why I chose nursing. I was afraid at the beginning, but eventually as I got more training, more experience, I feel more prepared to deal with the current situation that we're dealing.
I had no desire to be a nurse. After I graduated from school, I applied to medical school, got accepted, and didn't have the funds to go. And so I met Dr. Marjorie Parks, who inspired me to become a nurse, and I fell in love with nursing holistically. Men in nursing, we are often looked at as, why did you become a nurse? You're a guy, you should be a doctor. But there is more to it. Being a man in nursing or men in nursing allows you to do much more for your client. And quite honest, female patients prefers a male nurse most of the time. I don't know why. But no amount of money can pay you the way, quite honestly, to do this job. You have to have the heart and you have to love it. For me, when I look at a critical patient and you nurse that patient from the point of contact in the emergency department to admission to the ICU and then up to the medical internal unit, and that patient says to you, nurse, thank you upon discharge, that's the greatest feeling. My job has been done. God has inspired us to touch lives, and this is why we as nurses, we do what we do.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
While the unions are protesting against the government today, another group came out in protest against, you guessed it, the unions. News 5's Isani Caetano reports.
Teachers and public officers remain on strike, even with talks resuming between the unions and government regarding a 10% salary cut and increment freeze. Although a majority of primary school students have been at home since the start of the pandemic last year, the ongoing industrial action puts on hold any form of learning that has been taking place outside of the classroom.
For last week, Tuesday, my baby not getting no work or nothing for them because they send a message saying that they're striking. Who they lose? The children where they say they care for. If they care for the children, they are getting out of the classroom, at least the children are not worried about 10%.
Just before midday, a small handful of residents proceeded on foot through downtown Belize City, demanding, among other things, that teachers return to work. They are part of a newly formed grassroots movement that calls itself Union for Development, Advancement and Prosperity. Philip Father Henry claims he represents the 60,000 Belizeans who have been jobless since COVID-19 made its way to Belize in 2020.
None of these people are out here today, but they are crying the same way. They are crying because they are giving the government the opportunity to work this out so that we can find the solution to bring this country back. Are you aware what the government, the opposition have done to this country? Selling off all our assets. All those money could have put in place to pay the teachers today. I believe that the union and the teachers are being very, very selfish.
These single mothers are among many that were sent home last year amid the economic crisis at the start of the pandemic. Despite being unemployed, they have also had to take the lead in teaching their children, a job they say that is the responsibility of the teachers that are presently on strike.
What year I change now, I at home, I teach my own picnic. I not get no pay neither. I am not getting no pay either. And you have some parents whereas, okay, they not literally sit down and teach their child like so that they get it because they have work, they have other stuff they need to do as well. So somebody, yeah, and some of the children, they're just the out here, not do nothing, like they just hurry do the lot of assignments where they send just to send it back in for a grade.
Teachers business, you know? School! Teachers business, you know? School!
Father Henry, known for his street-style activism and road safety initiative, is at the helm of UDAP. You're calling this a union, but for this to be recognized as a union, these people have to be working. Are they working?
Well, you and I know. Or some of the union people have jobs now. We know that we are coming out of a pandemic. These people here, some of them are still working at the Belize City Council and cleaning. Some of them are working house job and stores. But they take their break and the opportunity to come out here. But majority of them are single mothers. Does the union come here to give them something? No.
That sentiment is being echoed by the protesters who came out to voice their discontent with the teachers and public officers earlier today.
We're doing the teacher's job, and then how about the parents that can't read and write? I mean, they're struggling at home with their kids, and for this whole coronavirus, as she said, we were out of job. I mean, I'm not working still. A casino's just open, and I work at a casino, and I didn't get back my job. I mean, I'm still out of a job, and the teachers were collecting this whole while. I mean, I don't think it's fair.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Over the past few weeks, we have been reporting on the industrial actions from the different unions. And for those who have not taken to the streets or walked off the job, they have given their words of commitment that they stand in solidarity with the joint unions. But if you are expecting the police to join any of the industrial actions, Commissioner Williams says that is not gonna happen. You'll recall a letter we reported over the past few days where police officers were against the 10% cut. Well, all is now well among the cops. At least that is according to Williams.
Any of the members of the police department engaging in any sort of industrial actions? Anybody participating? Any reports of that?
No. Our officers remain committed to the job. We took an oath of office. We are essential workers. And by virtue of our regulations, police officers cannot strike. And while, yes, there may be some who may have some issues or some disgruntlement, it had been said to them that they must understand the oath that they took and the roles and responsibility we have as police officers. It cannot be that police will be striking while other people are striking. Who are going to police the other people? So a favorite judge of mine once said that the law is not an ass, and forgive the language. The law must be structured in such a way that it creates that opportunity that if something occurred, there'll be somebody to respond nonetheless. And so police officers continue to remain on the job. For the most part, we're highly motivated, doing what we need to do to ensure that whatever is occurring in terms of these protests and any other activity, that we police them to the best of our ability.
Is there any plan in place? Because we know that some of them are not happy about this proposed 10% cut. Well, the 10% cut that's going to take place. But is there any plan, any contingency, if any of them should maybe do a sick out or, fall ill for some whatever reason and unable to show up to work?
I don't think we're going to that extent. I, for one, as a commissioner, have gone around and talked to police officers, sensitize them in terms of the 10% cut, the effect of it, and try to give some advice to them in terms of what they can do. Again, I have also informed them of our roles, our function as police officers, and I think that one of the issues that police officers were having was that there was some misconception of why the 10% cut was needed. And all they needed was to get someone to explain to them why and how it is going to work out, and I have done my best to do that. And so we're seeing that many of those officers who are disgruntled now understand the reason for it and are in support of it now.
The Association of Public Service Senior Management has served the Labor Commissioner, Anne Marie Thompson, with an official letter, noting its participation in ongoing industrial actions. According to President of APSSM, Sharon Fraser, her members are public officers who are legally covered under the PSU's 21 days notice of intended strike action. Notwithstanding, Fraser says the official notice was forwarded in line with formalities.
In terms of first move, we've been a part of the process. I've said that before. We have been in solidarity from the very first day, and I did indicate that we are public officers, and the notice that PSU gave would have covered us as public officers. And yes, we did put an official, a formal notice to the Minister of Labor that we are joining. So there is no need to put no further 21 days because it's already there. It has already been expired. We are negotiating jointly so that in fact we fall under that. Legally, we fall under that letter that has already been sent.
Up next, Miss Universe Belize leaves for the pageant. Dwayne Moody speaks with Iris Salguero at the PGIA when we return.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
The contamination of water we all depend on is a very urgent issue. As Belize's popularity and industries grow, challenges increase. In this episode, we will examine the issue of water pollution in Belize. Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies, usually because of human activities. Water bodies include lagoons, rivers, aquifers, and oceans. On the marine side, the discharge of sewage and bilge water from cruise ships and other live-aboard vessels, in combination with unregulated development of coastal areas, has led to the degradation of marine ecosystems such as mangroves and coral reefs. Our inland waters are facing their own challenges. As agricultural development increases, pesticides, fertilizers, and waste products are running off into rivers. Increased river traffic from boat tours and sugar barges adds to the already stressful conditions of the freshwater ecosystems. In addition, companies that collect sewage sometimes dump the waste right into the waterways. Additionally, in densely populated areas like Belize City and Orangewa, poor sewage designs result in the contamination of groundwater and of water bodies by both sewage and wash water. In many cases, homes and businesses dump their wastewater directly into drains, which leads to rivers and the sea. Wastewater, detergents, and petroleum collect in drains that empty into waterways, such as the New River and the Belize River. This, along with the runoff and discharges from the agricultural and industrial businesses, have been inadequately monitored and enforced. The answers to overcoming water pollution issues are fourfold: improved infrastructure, adequate treatment, increased legislation and monitoring, and of course, changing our habits for the better. While it is urgent that better management on a policy level is needed, there are a few things we can do at home to help. Ensure proper treatment systems are installed for all wastewater at your home and business. Don't dispose of oil from your automobiles or cooking and household detergents down the drain. And lastly, minimize the usage of chemicals and fertilizers and report any dumping into waterways to the Department of the Environment. The government has recognized the threat of inadequate liquid waste management and is working toward goals of reducing and reversing its effects. For more information on what's being done about water pollution and ways you can help, visit our website at doe.gov.bz. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Miss Universe Belize Iris Salguero touched down in Miami this afternoon for the official arrival to the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, where the 69th Miss Universe pageant takes place. Salguero will participate in the national costume competition on May 13th, followed by the preliminaries on the 14th, and then the live show takes place on May 16th. Today, News 5 caught up with the Belizean beauty ambassador at the PGIA. The confidently beautiful Salguero says she is ready to represent the country on the international stage.
I'm so excited, Dwayne. Like, I would think that I would feel a little bit nervous, but no, this is my fourth pageant. So, you know, I have the experience. I've been training really hard. Everybody's been sending me amazing messages of encouragement and motivation, and I'm just grateful. And of course, I have my flag with me. What more to feel proud and to feel comforted?
You know, your anticipations when you arrive, what's the next step where you're going?
Well, you know, as I arrive, I have to take another COVID test and then quarantine one night in my hotel room until we get my test results. After that, we will have orientation and some fittings to finalize the outfits for the opening dance number. And I'm excited, of course, to meet my roommate. It might be Bolivia or Belgium, whichever girl. I know they're sweethearts, and I'm just excited to start on this experience. You know, my national costume is inspired off of Bar and Bliss. We wanted something that was a pantsuit that gave us kind of sailor vibes, you know, being that the fishing industry is a big thing in Belize as well. Of course, my red flower, the island girl touch, and red, white, and blue, the colors of our beautiful flag. I will make you guys proud. Our presence will be felt, our voice will be heard. I know a lot of you believe in me, and that is what just keeps me inspired and motivated every day. I've said it so many times, and I'll never get tired of saying it. This is not just my story, this is our journey. I am your Miss Universe Belize, and I know that I will make every single one of you proud.
The tragic loss of Kenya Barona has prompted her family to make a financial contribution to the Belize Emergency Response Team in her memory. Kenya died of natural causes several weeks ago. Her loved ones maintain that negligence played a significant role in her untimely demise and blame BERT for not doing enough to respond promptly. After learning of the challenges that the ambulance service faces, Kenya's mother and aunt decided to raise funds to donate to the organization.
We are here today on the 6th of May. Today would have been my niece's 35th birthday. She's no longer with us. And we had made an earlier pledge that we will do something to support Bert in whichever way we could. So this afternoon, we presented Bert with a check for $2,800 plus, which we want them to put to good use.
On hand to receive the donation was Andre Carrillo. He is the Executive Director of the Belize Emergency Response Team. Notwithstanding the generous contribution, Carrillo says that emergency response begins with a distress call to BERT.
Emergency medical services start when you call BERT. And so we ask that when you call us directly, that you ensure that the person that calls us is able to provide all the information we need to render assistance to you.
The monies gifted to BERT will be used to secure a dedicated line for the ambulance service, since there have been occasions when there is difficulty getting through with the 911 dispatch.
We also believe that BERT should be given a direct line so that people can get BERT when they need BERT. They don't have to go through any other call center or station. They should be able to contact BERT directly so that they can respond in a timely manner to other people. First thing we want them to do with it is to provide some sort of human resource training for their employees so that they will know how to respond to questions being asked quickly and provide us with information that we need at critical times, especially in times of emergency.
The move to secure a dedicated line is something that Carrillo has long been clamoring for.
We had reached out to Digicel more than a year ago to ask them for a direct line, a 911 sort of call for us, and we've asked them to donate 2378, which is BERT. That's an easy number to remember, and so we will be talking to them and the other phone company to be able to provide that to us. SMART responded, and they provided us with a toll-free number, and it's 0800-911-BERT. That's 0800-911-2378.
As the family of Kenya Barona continues to grieve her loss, Sharon Flowers Garbot is thankful for the public assistance they have received.
I'd just like to say a big thank you to everybody who donated. Thank you very much. It was well appreciated.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
The government of Israel has had diplomatic relations with Belize since 1984, and today, as the country celebrates its 73rd anniversary of independence, it is giving back to Belize. That gesture is in the form of a $2,000 donation to the Belize Diabetes Association and will help some 15 diabetic persons. News 5 was at the Radisson in Belize City, where a brief handing over took place.
Checked several worthy causes, and we came to the conclusion that my embassy and myself that this would be one of the best, or at least of all of them. You know, there's so many, but at least this would help.
Talk to us about the amount that is being donated.
$2,000, and it's going to help 15 people to buy food, and there's needles and strips and you know the things that they need. 15 people. We wish you could help many more, but
it's a very timely donation. Honestly, we have persons living with diabetes who really need the support and have been calling our office for support and intervention in their management of their diabetes. So it comes at a time where we can call back and give more. We are able to support, but with donations such as these, we can give a little bit more. The donation will assist us in buying diabetes healthcare packages for 15 persons living with diabetes, including children. Type 1, we have youths who are living with diabetes, and the package would comprise of monitors, strips, lancets, face masks, hand sanitizers, and even some food items.
In Belize, almost 15% of the population is living with this non-communicable disease. That is approximately 50,000 living with diabetes. Across the world, 1 out of 11 persons has diabetes. 1 out of 2 persons has diabetes and don't know it. And every 8 seconds, someone dies from diabetes or complications associated with the disease. There are a number of children in Belize who are diabetic and have been managing the disease. One such person is Nairobi Cortez, who found out she was diabetic in Standard 3. Now, 21-year-old Cortez is the youth coordinator with the association and helps diabetics with coping.
I didn't really know anything about what this condition was, so my reaction to it was absolutely like nothing. I didn't know what I had, but my mom, she was actually very emotional. She knew what it was. And over the years, you know, with the different complications you face, it is very scary, it is life-threatening, but you meet people just like me, others are out there who you can talk to. You feel that sense of hope, you feel better, and it's not an easy road, but at the same time I will say it's also not that hard. It's in between for me. There are days when you just wake up and you're like you have to do this again. And there are days when it feels normal, like it doesn't feel like you're missing out on life or that you feel any different as to anyone else. There are days when you don't like it and when you are just fine with it.
The U.S. Embassy handed over a trove of tactical equipment and gear to the Belize Police Department Mobile Interdiction Team in Belmopan. The equipment, valued at almost 55,000 Belize dollars, was donated by the U.S. International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs. News 5 attended the handing over this morning at the police headquarters in Belmopan. Here's how that went.
What you see today is just a tangible example of the long cooperation that we have between the government of Belize and the government of the United States to help Belize and support Belize as it tries to make sure it's controlling its own borders. You know, the reason that's important is transnational criminal organizations like to use insecure borders to move people, to move drugs, to move guns across them, and that's something that's bad for Belize and it's bad for the United States. So we have this long partnership through the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement, through the embassy, to provide what I call an investment.
The mobile interdiction team was formed with the mandate to ensure that our borders are patrolled, protecting it from transnational criminals, human traffickers, firearm traffickers, and contraband. And so for the past few months, the unit has been operating not having adequate equipment to be able to fulfill their mandate. And so they're getting uniforms today, backpacks, some sort of stove. It might look like a cup, but that's stove. So don't be deceived by what you might be seeing. Knives and other things that will be able to aid them in the jungle to survive for a number of days. And so we're grateful for this contribution, and we expect that the commander who is here, Mr. Gabriel, is going to ensure that there is proper accountability. Each officer will be given his or her own kit that they must account for every time they fall in for duty.
Coming up, tourism is picking up again. A new resort at San Pedro ushers in the post-COVID comeback. Get a sneak peek inside the Alaya Belize Marriott when we return. But first, here's a look at the weather from the Belize Met Service.
One year ago, an invisible but deadly virus altered our way of life. Upon assuming my responsibilities as Minister of Home Affairs, over 190 members of the Belize Police Department had contracted the virus. And regrettably, 2 of our heroes in uniform lost the battle on the front line of this pandemic. Today, I can proudly say that there are no reported cases within our department, and this is directly attributable to the phenomenal work of the healthcare workers and the team over at the Ministry of Health and Wellness. We are in this together. I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine. This is our chance, our opportunity, our window to return to normalcy. #GetVaccinated_Belize.
It is my time
to protect your life.
Don't wait to vaccinate.
I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine.
The vaccine is the best way to protect lives.
Don't wait, vaccinate.
Don't hesitate, Belize.
Vaccinate. Be COVID-19 safe.
If you care,
love them.
Protect them.
Vaccinate them.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your smart broadband with smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize,
CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Tourism all over Belize took a serious hit over the past 12 months to 13 months. But tonight we can report on one sign of a pending recovery. Today, the first Marriott International property in Belize, the Alaya Belize Autograph Collection, opened its door on San Pedro and Burgers Key. Its first 70 guests signed the register today, and almost all of its 150 rooms will be fully booked by May 20th. News 5 was there on Wednesday for the ribbon cutting and last-minute preparations to make everything ship-shape for Alaya Belize's first visitors.
Today is a special day in many regards. Personally, for Jasmine and I, it marks the fulfillment of a dream to create the Alaya Resort in Belize and the official opening day today. A year ago, as the world faced an uncertain future, we and the Ashcroft family were concerned not just for the development, but for our beloved homeland. Little do we know that a great deal of tenacity and power and willpower, Belize has begun to emerge stronger than ever with a focused outlook of making a great comeback. Alaya Belize will always be a touchstone and a part of the new phrase to bring travelers to Belize and San Pedro. Additionally, today marks a particularly important day for our partners at Marriott International. I'd like to announce Alaya Belize Autograph Collection is officially open. Thank you.
Wednesday was a happy day for Andrew Ashcroft as a project he began over 5 years ago came to fruition. Yet the ribbon cutting was just a brief pause in the preparations as staff from all divisions of the resort continued to prepare for their first guests. Staff are recruited from both San Pedro and inland areas of Belize. Some employees are international, like the executive chef, originally from Germany. While he's lived all over the world, he's in love with the fruits and fish of Belize.
This kind of climate, I love the fresh ingredients that this environment has to offer, right? The local vegetable fruits that grow here, the tropical fruits, and especially the fish, seafood, tuna, snappers, it's just beautiful. And that's exactly what I've been going around Belize, seeing what's available on the mainland as well as the island here, finding great, amazing fish kinds that we catch here, Korean deep sea snappers, champagne snapper that are beautiful for sashimi.
Alaya's food and beverage director is also an international find. He was most recently in Qatar. His role is to bring everyone up to Marriott standards.
There is a saying that goes exactly like nothing else for autograph collection. That's what we're trying to portray with our division. As we ramp up people, we do have Marriott International trainers who are on site, allowing us that bandwidth to really implement some really technical trainings. And again, from a philosophy standpoint, it's a day in, day out training from all of us from a leadership standpoint.
On hand for the opening ceremony was the Minister of Tourism, Anthony Mahler. He was paying keen attention to all the behind-the-scenes activity and the international boost Marriott gives Belize.
Whenever you're dealing with a brand, they want highly trained people, and so we've talked to management here about continuous training. The beautiful thing about this project is that you have 200 people now being employed who were not employed 3 weeks ago. And so we want to commend management for their investment here in Ambergris-Key and in Belize, and for attracting a Marriott here. From what I see here, I truly believe that it is taking tourism and accommodations in Belize to another level. Like he said, it's the first official Marriott in the country, which does a lot for branding Belize and for putting us at a different level.
Mayor of San Pedro, Wally Nunez, says the arrival of the Alaya Belize autograph collection means both employment and a first-class island experience.
We can see, especially right now in the middle of a pandemic, we have employment. I'm seeing a lot of local faces finally getting a job after so long, and that's what it means for us. Here in the island, we cater for everyone, for the backpackers, for local tourism, and for people that are looking for a little bit of more of a relaxation and having a different ambience. And this is definitely giving that form of ambience that it's a little bit secluded, but not so much from the island. So at the same time, you're having like a first class mixed with island time, island style.
The Minister of the Blue Economy, Andre Perez, says the resort is a prime example of what his ministry is all about.
As I come in here to Alaya, I see many things that is pretty much related to what is the blue economy. Oftentimes many people take the blue economy as being an environmental portfolio, but indeed it's more than just an environmental portfolio. It has to be with investments as well. How can we make use of what is available as far as our coastal zone is? And Alaya is a perfect example where we can live when we can coexist with investment and preserving the environment at the same time.
For Managing Director Andrew Ashcroft, the opening this week has both professional and personal significance. Even when he thought the COVID-19 pandemic might interrupt the project, particularly the real estate portion, his team capitalized on a somewhat captive market.
And it was quite interesting is during the pandemic, a lot of people were in front of their computer screens all day long up in the States, so we launched a huge social media campaign and just attracted the attention of so many different people. And signed deals and said, once the airport opens, you have 30 days to come down and close your deal. And that was a massive success. Our conversion rate on that was 100%. So we were very, very happy. For my family, this is about the best thing. I mean, we are committed as a family. My wife, Jasmine, my kids, Charlie and Elle, we are 100% committed to Belize. They start school here this summer. We're gonna start a new project here in October of this year called the Alaya Beach Club, which will almost double our key count. So we're here to stay and do more investments in Belize, and we might have a couple surprises of other projects around Belize we'd like to do.
Carla Husner for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.